We start with this. The ANC has set up a task team to make recommendations to the NEC on the findings contained in the state capture report. Several party heavyweights have been named in that report. Part 3 of the report released earlier this week details several dodgy dealings at Bosasa. The task team consists of Jeff Hadebe, who's the convener, Joel Nechitenze, Toko Didiza, Ranula Mola, Lady Pando, and Lindiwe Maseko. For more on this, I'm joined in studio by ANC National Spokesperson Pule Mabe. Pule, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. So let's talk about the most important issue here and the mandate of this task team.
Well, evening, Shahan, and evening to your viewers. The task team is work or conclusions arrived at by the NEC in that January National Executive Committee. It was announced alongside the Renewal Commission. It's part of the broader work that the organization needs to do. But remember what we said. During our 110th anniversary celebration, we did say that we have got to be seen acting decisively on the work that the Commission was doing. But we said for us to be able to act with fuller knowledge of what is contained there, we'll then need to have a task team of the National Executive Committee that does that work and helps the ANC formulate its own approach on the report itself.
Do you take a decision on those implicated through this task team? For example, Greta Mantashe, Namvula Mokonyane, etc. Does this task team say we need to look into the allegations made against these people because of the state capture?
Well, the task team does have authority to invite cadres that are so mentioned in those reports so that they could be able to provide whatever clarity that could be required. You are well aware that some of our comrades have already expressed going to exercise their own individual rights as it relates to judicial review of whatever shall have been placed out there in the public. We are actually making that point, that even when that work is being done, it must not distract what the ANC has already pronounced on the public as it relates to the work of the Commission.
The task team, can it say to members implicated, step aside now, or is that a different matter?
Well, there's going to be broader conversations held there. Remember, the reports, this is the third part of the report. We are still awaiting others. You'd expect that based on the conclusions they arrive at, they will be able to really advise the National Executive Committee. I wouldn't want to really jump the gun myself because I do not know even at what stage are they now meeting. Have they now begun perusing reports that are out there in the public, including the National Executive Committee beginning to say, this is a framework. You'll remember, Shahan, you were already in the media space. You know the amount of time it took us to even just arrive at some consensus on the framework that needed to guide the work of the Integrity Commission. We're expecting that we'll act here expeditiously, will allow the task team to do their own work, and then they were able to then guide the ANC and say, this is what we believe is the right decision or is the right approach that the movement is supposed to be taking under the conditions.
All right, so this is basically going to establish the way forward and how you deal with the recommendations of the report.
True.
This task would possibly say that people still need to go to the Integrity Commission or these people should step aside. All of that's still going to be decided on.
True, because it would be, it's early days to be preemptive. And we decided as the ANC, because we're here yesterday talking to yourselves, that just saying we have got this task team and not beginning to say these are the men and women who are entrusted with the work of executing what needs to be done, then, society then tends to think that it's lip service. Now we have got to say these are the actions we have taken. These are the comrades who have entrusted with responsibility. We are expecting them to move expeditiously and be able to guide the organization. Because the ANC supported the work of the Zondo Commission into state capture by way of a resolution in 2017. And it has continued to pronounce a consistent position around that very support. So it's very important that we now empower and educate our members to understand how they need to really relate with some of the outcomes that are coming out of there. But we can only do that through this, the work that a task team has got to be doing.
So will the task team, outside of questioning these members named in the report, do any probing themselves before deciding on the way forward?
Well, they will make that determination. I do not see it. I'm not part of the task team. But
you should have a mandate, which you said, is what this task team is about.
Yes, but of course, it's them. There are volumes and volumes of reports that are out there. the first volume, the second volume, and the third volume, it is only fair that upon this capable task team doing their work, they will be able to come back to the National Executive Committee and then say, we believe we will be able to do this work well within this time frame. Some of the considerations that we are beginning to see during these early days are the following. But that is not for us, because we have established the task team for a purpose. The purpose being to empower us to be able to know how we need to relate with that. I mean, we're reflecting with the Treasurer General, Comrade Pule Mabe, because he's now responsible for the Secretary General's office. So when we come out to make public pronouncements or issue statements out there, we've got to make sure that we also okay those with the TG. And he did indicate that we must allow these comrades time and space to be able to acquaint themselves with the relevant facts and then make a determination on the approach they want to take. We have got a National Working Committee on the 14th of March, and in that working committee will then be able to say, as part of the decisions we took in January, these are the ones that we have already implemented. We are expecting them to move well within this time frame to be able to advise the organization, because the ANC can no longer afford to have long-drawn processes.
Yeah.
Because these long-drawn processes tend to make society out there believe that these things are just being established as a way of PR or just appearing as if we are doing something. But want society to understand that the pronouncements we made out of our own, I mean, look at the number of things we've done. Out of our own January 8 statement, we spoke about the Renewal Commission. Names have already been put forward. The NEC that sit in March will process those. We spoke about setting up a task team to be able to formulate our own responses to this Zondo Commission's report. We are here today talking about exactly that. So it means that there is some action on our part on the things that we have committed ourselves to doing.
So why do you need a task team to give you recommendations on how to deal with the State Capture Report recommendations?
Well,
what was the point of the State Capture Commission?
Well, remember that the State Capture Commission, and that, in fairness to your viewers, is not the structure of the ANC. But what we cannot avoid is that the ANC is one single most organization or formation that is being mentioned timelessly there. And now, because we are being mentioned, we cannot therefore then say, oh, okay, we don't care about this work that was being done. The reality is that we are presiding over state institutions. We are the governing party. Now, when you raise things that have got to do with how we can best look at formulating a best ethical and credible institutions of state that are trusted by the people out there, we have to be paying attention on those. I mean, our program, the program that we said the Renewal Commission must lead, is a program that must be able to outline what we must do to fundamentally transform society over the next 10 years. This means that we've got to learn from some of the errors of the past. And so it's not about taking just punitive actions.
Yeah.
It's also about saying, what lessons can we draw out of this? And then if we draw these lessons constructively, will they make the ANC a better organization?
Hopefully it does. How long is this commission going to take to actually, this task team going to take to come to a determination? Have you set a deadline? Because you have an elective conference coming up.
Yes, you took words out of my mouth. I wanted to say that the expectation of all of these bodies that you are putting now is that before you go to your elective conference, there should have been some bit of traction. But remember, Shahan, the political life of the ANC does not end when this leadership finishes its term of office. If it so happens that some of the things that needed to be processed would have to be undertaken by the incoming leadership in office, they will have to take over those, because members of the ANC, including those that occupy positions of leadership in the African National Congress, are expected to be loyal to decisions and resolutions of the African National Congress.
But the determination of this task team could have huge consequences on the leadership of the ANC. And you have disgruntled members who are probably going to say this task team is targeting people who ANC individuals don't want to be in the leadership position.
Well, the reason we make ourselves available to come out and speak to yourselves in the media is to also assure our structures, our members, that these decisions are consistent with the pronouncements we have made out in the public. This decision does not come out because there was a Zondo Commission issued 2 days ago. We took this decision already in January. It was part of our own January 8 statement, and certain commitments were made. We said that we will have to put forward names of cadres who are capable enough, who have got the necessary or relevant, even legal experience. I mean, most of these comrades that sit in this task team, as you can already see, it's people who come from, who have got that legalistic background. Yeah. Comrade Jeff, Comrade Lamola, Comrade Lindiwe Maseko. These comrades bring with them that legalistic background. Comrade Naledi has served government at the level of cabinet for years on end. So is Comrade Joel Nechitenza. These are seasoned cadres of the organization. So is Comrade Togo Didiza. Yeah. All of these comrades bring with them a different kind of experience, and we hope that out of that fountain of wisdom, they will be able to then say, we think a shared outlook that the ANC must consider to be able to move and draw certain lessons here is this.
Very quickly, 30 seconds. Is this task team costing you money because you were broke just the other day?
How, Shahad? No. I mean, these are cadres who are, these are elected members of the National Executive Committee. I mean, it's as good as asking me that does it cost money for you to serve in the NEC? I mean, we serve, our membership to the National Executive Committee is voluntary. You know, we do so, we make ourselves, that's why in a conference when we are nominated, you are first asked if you are available. Yeah. So that if you are not available, you could then say, I don't think I'm equal to the task.
Okay, I had to check, you know. Always dodgy dealings.
No. Not on
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. ANC National Spokesperson Pule Mabe.